In this video, I want to quickly review how to graph an equation that is just y equals some number or x equals some number. We're going to start with y equals some number, and if you have y equals some number, meaning there's no x there, you're not adding or subtracting anything, it's just y equals like 2. You should have a horizontal line as your answer. So let's take the example y equals 5. If this were the equation I were given and I were being asked to graph that line, I need to start with where y is equal to 5. And y is equal to 5 right on the y-axis at y is 5. So x is 0, y is 5. Now, if I move up or down, y is no longer 5. If I move up, let's say 2 spaces, now y is 7. If I move down 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, y is now 2. So I want every single spot where y is equal to 5. This one point is not my answer, and so many people will just submit this as their graph. If I move over to the left, let's say 3 spaces, y is still 5 here. If I move to the right 7 spaces, y is still 5 here as well. So I need to include a couple more points where y is equal to 5, and then I'm going to draw my line going through every single point where y would be equal to 5. So let's do another example of y equals negative 3. I'm going to find where y is negative 3 on the y-axis. And then I'm going to put a couple more points in, moving from side to side at that same level. So I haven't moved up or down. We're still at that level of y equals negative 3. And then I draw my line. Now let's talk about x equals. If x is equal to some number, then you should have a vertical line where every single x value, every single point has an x value of whatever the number is that you're given. So let's say we have x equals 5. Well, instead of moving up and down on the y-axis where y was 5, I want to move on the x-axis where x is equal to 5. So I'm going to put a point where x is equal to 5. And this time, if I move side to side, my x isn't 5 anymore. If I move 2 to the left, now my x is 3. If I move 3 to the right, now my x is 8. I want where x is 5 every single time. So if I move up, I'm still at where x equals 5. I've just changed my y value. So I'm going to add a couple more points where x is equal to 5 and then draw my vertical line in. Okay, similarly with x equals negative 3, I'm going to find where x is equal to negative 3 on the x-axis, put my point. I'm going to move up and down where x is still negative 3 and put a few more points wherever I want. And then I'm going to draw my vertical line in. Again, remember you should have a full line still. It's not just one point. Please make sure that you are going the correct direction. Take a few seconds to think to yourself, does my line make sense? Because if it's not making sense, then you have something wrong and you need to go back and check.